Hi everyone, it's Lucy and we're doing some more fundamentals of English language with E2. Now today we're looking at this construction, so as not to miss the train. So we're giving negative reasons with so as not to and in order not to very lovely conjunctions. So today we are looking at our level 6 and specifically this is lesson 14, so as not to and in order not to. So in today's lesson what we're focusing on is how to use these conjunctions, so as not to and in order not to. And the reason why we use them is to give negative reasons or to explain what you are avoiding. And again, these conjunctions are a bit formal. We can use them in speaking, but more often you find them in writing. But let's look at some examples to really understand how to use these conjunctions. So our first example here, related to our title, I left home early so as not to miss the train. So I obviously hate missing the train. It makes my morning terrible. And this kind of construction you can use to tell what you're avoiding. So in this case, I'm trying to avoid missing the train. So I can use so as not to. And remember, you can also use the conjunction in order not to. So let's look back at that sentence. I could also say, I left home early in order not to miss the train. Same meaning, no difference. Now, how about our second example? So as not to fail the exam, students should review the material daily. And again, you could say in order not to fail the exam, right? So obviously the students are trying to avoid failing the exam. This is something, a negative reason. Okay, how about our third example here? The manager had structured his corporation in order not to breach the requirements of the local labor laws. So again, the manager here is trying to avoid this problem. So we're using in order not to. Or again, you could also use so as not to. Okay, so what exactly is our rule here? So again, like I said, so as not to, in order not to, they have the same meaning, and in fact, they have the same grammar. So let's take a look at how we use these. And our rule is, we use so as not to, or in order not to, followed by a verb, okay, a verb in the infinitive. And we can use this at the beginning of a sentence, or we can use it after a clause. Okay, now if you don't remember what a clause is, remember a clause is a subject plus a verb, okay? So remember we had so as not to miss the train, I hurried, something like that, okay? So there we're using it at the beginning of a sentence. But you could also change the order of that sentence and say, I hurried so as not to miss the train. So both constructions are equally valid and equally fine. Now, because we've used this, let's take a look at some practice and see if you can do this on your own, okay? So let's look at our first practice sentence here. So we have, I don't want to gain weight, so I will eat healthy food, okay? Remember, you're trying to avoid something. In this case, you're trying to avoid gaining weight. Now, here's the beginning of the sentence. I will eat healthy food so as not to gain weight. Okay, and again, remember you could do I will eat healthy food in order not to gain weight. Okay, how about our second practice sentence? So the team wanted to avoid delaying the product, so they stayed late. Okay, remember we're talking about something they want to avoid, a negative reason. So here the team stayed late in order not to delay the product. Okay, and again, so as not to, perfectly fine here. Okay, how about our last practice? Okay, I'm giving you a little bit more freedom here. So we have, the university does not wish to lose the professor, thus they increased her salary. Okay, remember they're trying to avoid something. They want to avoid losing this professor. So we want to start with so as not to lose the professor, they increased her salary. And again, you could use in order not to. So here's a great example of using this conjunction at the beginning of the sentence, but remember, you can also use it after a clause. Okay, great. Now, hopefully these examples and this rule was helpful for you. And remember, this kind of sentence, using these constructions so as not to, in order not to, this is great for maybe a more formal context. It's perfectly fine in speaking, but we tend to see it more often in writing. So this would be great for maybe your TOEFL, your IELTS kind of writing exam. Now, if you have any examples you'd like to share with us, please don't be shy. So if you can think of another sentence with so as not to and in order not to, please write it in the comments below. We'd love to see your comments and love to hear your thoughts. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and I'd love to see you next time. All right, thanks. Bye.